Hi everyone, welcome into this week's My Weekly CBS Fix. I hope you're enjoying your Hanukkah, and I hope you have a wonderful Shabbos. In this week's Parashas Miketz, we find an interesting medrash, and the medrash tells us that Yaakov Avinu, Jacob our forefather, was so deeply in mourning over his son Yosef, whom he had thought he had lost. He thought he had been killed by a wild animal. He was so deeply in mourning, and Hashem says, "Here I am preparing your son to become king, and you're deeply in mourning." And we have to study these words. So, because first of all, we see, parenthetically, that the Torah is only interested in telling us the truth, even if it means that Yaakov Avinu, Jacob, may have sinned by mourning for his son. But Hashem expected a little bit more of Jacob, so therefore Hashem spoke like that. But on another vein, what we will have to learn is that we really can't blame Yaakov for feeling how he felt, because for many reasons he believed that he had to specifically have 12 sons. And he was afraid that if he did not have 12 sons, that the 12 sons represented the 12 zodiac signs of which all of Jewish people were constituted. And he felt that if he did not have that, his entire life would not have come to its fruition, the main purpose of his life. And so he was deeply mourning not just over the loss over Joseph, but deeply mourning over his loss, and that he did not fulfill the potential that he was supposed to, as we've spoken many times about. Yet Hashem said to him, "Here I am preparing your son to become king, and you are deeply in mourning." And what we have to learn from this is a lesson that sometimes things seem gloomy, but really Hashem has other plans. And there's a famous story during the times of the Bolsheviks, the communists, that was a guy who was on his way to work, and he had his briefcase full of diamonds, and he had to be at a meeting at 8 o'clock specifically. And on his way, he heard somebody calling out, "A center," which means a tenth. This guy was looking for a minyan, and this guy was supposed to be the 10th guy. So he said, "You know what? I can't not do a mitzvah. Somebody's calling him in. He needs to go in." So he goes in. He walks into the shul. He sees that there's only 4 other guys there, and he's the 5th guy. He's like, "What is this? You said I was the 10th." He says that eventually there'll be a 10th. A lot of Jewish people are roaming the streets here. Please, I need you to stay. So he's decided to recite some chapters of Psalms, and he's standing there waiting. 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by, and nobody else is coming. He's like, "What is it? I have a meeting. It's like getting late, 7:30, 7:40. See, the guy says to him, "Listen, I'm begging you. I need you to stay. Today is my father's yahrzeit," he says to him, "and I need to say the Kaddish, and I need a minyan. You know how important that is. I need you to stay." So he's like, "Okay, fine. I'll give you a few more minutes." The 6th guy comes. The 7th guy comes. Meanwhile, it's going to be way past 8 o'clock, and the guy is like losing his patience. And just try to keep it brief. I got to speed up a little bit. But he eventually, a 10th guy comes, but the guy said to him, "Listen, you wouldn't want me to leave if it was your father, and you need him, and I need you to stay." And finally, a 10th guy comes, and the guy prays. His prayers are just so slow, and he's like, "Come on, hurry up." He's like going out of his mind over here. And finally, the prayers are said, the Kaddish is said, he serves a little cake, and he has a little vodka and to make a l'chaim, and finally the guy leaves and he runs to work. And on his way to work, he realizes that the Bolsheviks had come in and robbed all the Jewish people there, and even murdered a few of them that were working that day in the Diamond District. And he was worrying the whole time that he was going to lose out from this business deal that he was supposed to have. And meanwhile, his entire attaché case was still intact with his diamonds, and more importantly, his life was intact. And Hashem was trying to tell Yaakov Avinu the same thing. You think you're deep in mourning and something bad is happening, but really Hashem has another plan, and we have to sometimes feel that is Hashem's lesson for us as well, that sometimes we're just so too zoomed in our present situation that we feel that there's no way out. We feel like the entire world is surrounding us. We can't breathe. We can't get out of the situation. We hyperventilate, but have to think that Hashem always has a plan. And even when somebody actually does die, that's also part of Hashem's plan. There's no such thing that happens by accident as the cruse of oil we spoke about last week, but certainly no accidental find. But everything is part of a big plan. So when you feel like you're caught up in the moment, Hashem says, "Here I am preparing grand things for you," and you're all worried, getting all up in a knot. So relax, take a deep breath. Hashem is there. He'll always be there. He was there from the day you were born. He'll be there till the day you pass away. He's your best friend. Don't worry about it. You're in good hands. Have a great Shabbos and enjoy your Hanukkah again.